A is for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the prophet.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our program, Learn Arabic. In the last episodes, we discussed a lot of Arabic letters. We discussed Ha, Jim, Kha, Ba, Ta, Tha. Today we're going to discuss more about the 8th letter in Arabic, which is Dal. And I have, as I used to do, I have to present all my guests today. As usual, we have Muhammad from Ghana, Osama from Egypt, and Muhammad from England, and Nabil from Pakistan. Welcome to all of you.
Yeah,
and as you know, that today we're going to discuss more about Dal in Arabic. And as everyone knows, that probably Dal could be very close and very similar to Da, a sound in English, as we have in English, for example, Dad. Let me just repeat here in the slides what we have. This consonant is pronounced like a frontal of English, like in a dentist. The letter Dal does not connect to any letter that follows it. That is very interesting. Please, Osama, you have a comment here.
Now, I found, Ahmed, that the difficulty between Da is in the pronunciation between Dal and Dad.
Yep, that's right.
We have a difficulty and confusion. But when it comes to writing,
Yep.
Da may be confused with the.
That, right,
Da,
exactly.
okay?
I think.
Okay. So in writing we have Dal and Dal, but in pronunciation we have Dal and Dad.
Exactly. I think we can discuss more about how can we write Dal and Zal in such episode. Here it says again, but when it comes connected with, but this letter could be connected with the previous letters. I think that's very interesting to know. That probably could be something like unfamiliar for a lot of Arabic letters, because we discussed before that Arabic letters.
Until now we have 7 alphabets that is always connected when it comes in the initial position.
You bet. I think you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And I think that this is probably the first letter that comes in the initial position, and it will be disconnected. Let me just read here how can we pronounce it. Well, that's very interesting. If you would like to pronounce Dal, here is the point. So I would say Da. Put your hand, please, at your Adam's apple. You can find a kind of vibration here. Da. Can you see that? And that's why it's described as a voice sound. That's probably the first feature for such letter. And the second feature here is place of articulation is alveolar. I think that is quite interesting, because when you pronounce that letter, what you are making here is that you put your tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge. So what you are making here is Da.
Touching the teeth ridge, yeah.
Please be very careful. This is not an interdental letter. So don't be confused, for example, between Dal and Tha. Tha. Or something like that. It could be probably close to Ta.
Yeah.
In a dental way. You see
Dental,
that?
yeah.
Right. So this is probably the place of articulation. When it comes to the matter of articulation, it's called the stop and oral. It's oral sound. Let me just explain that in a nutshell. Here is the airstream is coming out from the lungs. Can you see that?
Yes.
And then it passing through the pharynx. Here we have the pharynx, which is a very narrow path that actually carries the food and carries also the airstream. And then we have here the airstream is coming inside the oral cavity. Here we have the tongue. The tongue is here. We have the tip of the tongue actually touches that part, which is the back side of the teeth. So we say Da. Okay. But the airstream actually, where it's coming down, coming inside here, the oral cavity, what's happening after that, is the airstream is released suddenly with a kind of stoppage. And that's why we describe this sound as a kind of stop sound. Stop means that the airstream stopped first.
Yeah.
We have a kind of obstruction of the airstream
and
inside the oral
releases with an
cavity.
explosion.
And then it's released suddenly with a kind of explosion. And that's why it's described as an explosive sound.
Explosive.
Right, exactly. You have a comment here, Mohammed. Yep.
I think when you have, my question is, if you have 2 dolls, how would you pronounce it? If it's joining together from because you cannot join from the forward, so it has to be previous. If you have 2 dolls coming together, how do you pronounce it?
I don't think in Arabic we have just in one word 2 dals comes together. Probably we can find. Do you have any example for something like that?
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
Like that shadda.
Oh, shadda. Right. Yeah. Osama have a comment. I think here Osama can talk.
Yeah. Shadda. I think that it is here in Dal. It is consistent of two sounds. Okay. Yep. 2 sounds, and we make what we call mixing.
Right. Which is called Osama a gemination.
Or gemination.
Right.
Yeah.
Implant, something like
gemination.
that. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I think this is
right. And that's probably can be described as a kind of two sounds that are combined together. But when it comes in writing, Nabil, we just write one letter, not two letters. And that's why it's described as gemination. Yes, Muhammad, you have a comment.
My question is, I've heard people when you recite Quran say there's some kind of qalqala and dal. You have some kind of similar to qaf. You pronounce it differently when you have just sukoon on the top.
I think that could be another difference here between dal and qaf, because when it comes to qaf, I think as Osama said, sometimes it could be a kind of musakkana, right?
Musakkana.
But something like that probably may not be found in dal. In dal, we have a kind of well, by the way, both qaf and dal, both of them are consonants. But I think that there is a huge difference between both, because even in the way we pronounce it. When it comes to dal, for example, we have the tip of the tongue touching the alveolar ridge here for dal, but when it comes to qaf,
my point is not with the pronunciation. Is that when you have sukoon on the top.
Well, here is the point. I can tell you here something. When it comes to dal, we can discuss more about the writing style for dal. But let me just, in a nutshell, here explain that dal is written in this way. I'm going to explain how can we write that. But qaf, if you just have a look at this, Muhammad, I think it's described in this way with two dots. Even the style of writing could be completely different. Yep.
I think that Muhammad is speaking about the similarity when it comes to qalqala between dal and dal. But this has to do with the as we have said, with the marks that we put above or below the letter.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. And again, we have a kind of a secret part in Arabic language which is called tashkil or something like that.
Yeah, and by the way, Ahmed, this is called also the attributes of the alphabet, sifat al-huruf.
Yep.
And this is another issue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, this is the variation, variation in the pronunciation of one letter.
Yep.
Maybe muqalqat, maybe mukhaffaf. Okay.
Right. Which is sometimes that we discussed before at the kind of emphatic and non-emphatic sounds.
And I think we're going to start to
exactly
to learn that.
Exactly.
In the coming episodes, I think
that is actually very important to mention stuff like that, because you can find that probably one letter can have variations in pronunciations, and that's why it's quite important actually to mention something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, now let's get here to the following slides, which is we write this letter, the way of writing that kind of letters in Arabic. I think that would be easy, probably could be easier than jim and ha and kha, but let me just have a look at this. We write this letter by beginning above the line and slant down. Here is that. So I would suppose that what we have here is a kind of line. Let me just have a look at this. Okay. So I would start here a kind of straight line. And please pay your attention to me. We are starting here from top to down, not from down to top. That's wrong. So we start from the top to down here in this way, as it says, and slant down. It looks like when we draw an angle but less than 90 degrees. It's not like that. Can you see this? So here is it.
It's perpendicular.
Thing is more like C, but it's the other way around.
Exactly. Yes, Osama.
Yeah, perpendicular.
Exactly.
Angle.
Right. So so it consists of two parts here. Here are the first slanted lines here in this way, and then we are making that kind of straight line.
I think you could say it's probably the easiest word in Arabic to draw.
I would say that. I would say probably that would be the easiest letter in writing.
Very similar to C.
But we can find also a lot of easy letters in Arabic that we're going to discuss in the upcoming episodes. But anyway, so I would repeat that again, writing. Please follow me writing this letter, please.
Okay.
Okay, here is it. Can you see that? Yep. So again, it consists of... Yes, Asaf.
What is the difference in writing between dal and ha? For example, when it is connected with the... Okay, I think here we can... This may be ha.
Yep.
And maybe dal.
Exactly. Well, it's very interesting, Osama. Well, Osama here again, all my guests. Osama here is asking a very interesting question. He asked me what's the difference in writing between ha and dal. I think that's, Osama, when it comes, for example, here is the line again. Okay.
Please. What is the function of this imaginary line?
In writing dal or in writing ha?
In writing in general.
Well, the function of writing in language, I talk about Arabic, for example.
Yeah.
I think that is very important, Osama, because it's part of learning language. It's just to understand and to know how can you write.
In a straight line.
Exactly, and that's why it's very important, because if you like, I know that you can find, for example, a lot of papers that probably doesn't have any kind of lines, but I think that it's the best way to learn how can we write the letter in a line. It's very important actually here, because you can find some letters probably have two parts like ha, when it comes, for example, here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So sometimes the second part of the letter comes down, and the first part of the letter is actually coming above the line. Anyway,
the line.
now let's get back again to your question, Osama. Here is that. So when it comes, for example, to ha, here is the point, Osama. We make a kind of very small hook here in this way, and you are making a straight line, and you are making, well, here it's called slanted line, and this is another straight line here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to say, for example, give me an example, please, starting with ha in Arabic, humar,
Hajj.
Hajj, something like that. So here is that. So here is that. Again, I will write that with a very small hook, slanted lines. I'm making a straight line. And also I would write another letter here, which is Hajj. Can you see that, Osama?
Yeah.
And here we put the dot
Think,
under the line.
Samar is a very good point. It's slightly confusing, the ha and dal.
And dal.
It
And
looks
that-
very close.
Right, right.
It's close.
So here is the point.
I think that probably the difference comes with that when you put the
Small
slight hook.
Exactly.
hook, yeah.
That's right. So when it comes to dal, here in this way, can you see that? Very slanted line and straight line, but we don't have hook here. We don't have that kind of part here. Can you see that?
Say, can you draw the dal just similar to C, circular?
Exactly, something like that. But again, here, yes, Manabi.
But how can join dal and ha?
I think that is dal and ha combined together. I don't have any example actually that probably have dal and ha together in one word. Do we have something like that? Had. Okay, let me just
Hadda.
write.
Hadda.
Ahad. Let me just.
Or to demolish, Ahmed.
Okay.
To destroy.
Exactly. So, let me just write that once again here. So I can write that in this way. So we have here the straight line here, and then we're going to start with had. So we can write ha first. Here we have a very small hook, slanted line, and then we move straight. And now we come to the second part, which is writing down. I think we can discuss more about writing down in the final position. That is also very interesting. Here is that. We make a kind of straight, slanted line here. Okay. Let me just repeat it once again here. Well, that's a very quick form. Okay. Can you see that? Slanted line and then a straight line. And we connect that with that.
Yeah.
When you think the dal is really small.
Yeah, exactly. It could be actually smaller than ha, of course. And even when we write it, I think it will be easier than writing ha. But I think that when it comes in the final position for writing dal, but how about when you write that in initial position? Here in the slide, initial position always disconnected.
It means that in ha and kha and jim, there is some part of ha and ja and jim is possible to erase at the joining.
Well, that's called connected and disconnected. And so when it comes to ha, jim, kha in initial positions, it must be connected with the following letters.
Yeah.
Right.
But the
So
last position is we can erase.
sometimes, yes, you can find a kind of disconnection between ha and jim and kha with the previous letters. But that is for jim, ha, ha. How about dal?
The dal remains in the same position. It's just like, it's the same position from the start and
Right.
it doesn't have no middle position, I think. So
Right,
it's-
right,
so it's
exactly.
Start and the same position.
Exactly,
So
right.
it's just like a king, wherever you move it remains the same.
I agree with you, and that's probably one of the distinctive features of dal here, which actually attracted my attention, which is we don't have any connection between dal when it comes to initial position with the following letters, which is something that probably may not be the general rule in Arabic, because generally speaking, when it comes to Arabic, most letters are connected together, which is something probably may not be found in English. And I think that we can discuss more about how can we write dal in Arabic, but after having a break. My dear viewers, we're going to have a break. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Hopefully we'll discuss some tips on how to increase the ability of getting the dua or the supplication answered.
Allah delays giving you what you want and gives you a reward that is equal to that or better in this life or in the world to come, forgiving your sins and giving you good deeds.
I'm going to look at some questions that we've asked some of our brothers on the street. We asked them, should Muslims have a dialogue with other religions?
We're going to need some stability.
So it doesn't matter where we live, we need to care for those ones to give them the rights that Allah gave.
This life is not the eternal life. It is a test.
Particularly for the youth of today. So if there are any parents or uncles or whoever is watching, if you have 16, 17, 18, 20-year-olds with you, make sure they stop doing whatever they're doing and come in and watch this show, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the second part of our program, Learning Arabic. We were discussing in the previous part, actually, how can we write dal when it comes in initial position. Now, we're going to discuss how can we write dal when it comes in the immediate position. But as I said before, very distinctive features when it comes to dal, which is it's always disconnected when it comes to the initial position. I think that probably can make a lot of learners find the easy way to write dal. It consists of two parts. There's a slanted line and then a straight line. Here is that. Okay, but we don't have hook, as we have, for example, for ha or jim or ha. Okay, now, so let me just give you here one example. Disconnected like the word dollar in English, which is dollar. So let me just read that here, write that here. It's a very slanted line here in this way, and they were making here, so this is the letter, dal. Can you see that?
Yes.
Then I would write wow, well that's another letter we will discuss later, and then we have la, and then we have alif, which is a, and then we have ra. It's very interesting in this word that you can find three letters in Arabic that are disconnected. Can you write this word, please? Show me that. Yep. I repeat that again. Here is it. Okay. So this is for dal, wa, la, and a, which is alif, and then we have ra. Can you see that?
Here is it.
Yep. That's awesome. Well, that's very interesting. Terrific. Okay. So you have a comment. I think you have something you want to say.
I was thinking about, Ahmed, if I made a curved line, for
Yep.
example, for writing dal,
Yep.
what could be?
Well,
You try it. You're making here a slanting line.
Yep. That's right.
But what about if I make a curved line?
In this way, for example?
Yeah, that's what I want. So
I can see. I don't think that would be a good idea, just to write down
I think
this
it's
way.
probably going you trying to be more C-type.
Exactly.
But I find that even the kids, our kids who
Yep.
learn Arabic,
Yep.
even they say it at the first beginning, they
Yep.
write it, yeah, this shape way.
Yep, that's right. That's
I
right.
think it's probably because it's similar to C and it's really easy to draw.
It's very easy to me, yeah.
Yep, that's right. So Osama here suggests another way, which is writing dal with a curved line in this way. Oh,
But I think this looks for children, not an adult.
Yep, that could be
But I
right.
think that in Arabic language there is many methods of writing.
Yep.
We can say that rika.
Right.
We
Calligraphy,
call it
it's, yeah.
rika.
Yeah. Again, it's related to the styles of calligraphy, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But, more than one.
One
method
form of writing
yeah.
the letter, right? I think
Yeah.
that is very interesting because I was actually confused about how can the calligraphers write different forms for the letters in Arabic. I was actually in a position of surprise to have something like that. And I think that's another art that
I think
all of us, yes.
It comes more with the ancient arts and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
But
This was
I think this also has to do with the favors or the booties of God to people.
Yeah.
It's a talent. Yeah, he's a talent in writing. Okay,
Right.
So it's a talent first of all.
Yep.
But that's where I wanted to learn how write in a standard way. The
Yep.
people, the ordinary people who write. Okay.
Yep,
But
yep.
these are these shapes of writing or forms of writing are for the professionals. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's a huge matter for me to do.
But this is my first time actually to know something like that from Muhammad, that it comes originally from the Asian countries or
No, I
Asian
said
roots.
ancient.
Oh, okay,
Ancient,
Asian,
yes.
right, okay, well,
And you can also say, I mean, you can say Arabic is the only probably language which has special types of writing. You know, you go from a writing. From Bismillah ar-Rahman, he can make it almost a man who's slightly praying.
Right.
And
But
make
also,
it dark or
we
something.
have that also in English. We have area line.
yep,
We have boutique.
yep,
We have also shapes in English. I
Yeah,
see.
but we cannot end up making some kind of design, some kind of picture, which can we do in Arabic,
right.
which
Okay.
doesn't find in English. You can't
So,
do it.
Osama, I think that Osama's point here is you can find also different levels of writing English letters in
Yeah.
different forms, right? I think that also can be found if you write any document on your laptop, you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
find stuff like that. And it sounds
I mean,
like it's,
you
yep.
see writing like joint handwriting or some kind of you have A with the side link on it, but it's not like designing as Arabic. It will not come in some sort of picture. Maybe if in Arabic you see these days people write Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the man in the sajda is praying Salah,
Yep.
or you see some kind of beautiful animal being drawn, but you will not see that kind of thing in English. But I mean, if you even try to do it, you just mix up the words, and the person will not be able to understand what he's reading. But in Arabic, I mean, maybe the first time you'll be really shocked. What is there actually? After you understand, okay, this is bar is there, scene is there, and you maybe understand to really read it.
Right, right. So sometimes it could cause a kind of confusion for some people for learning that. I think now, when it comes to Dal, as I said before, I think we don't have a lot of forms for writing Dal. So I think that Osama suggested for writing Dal in a curved line, something that's not good. So we should start here in this way. So again, please.
It appeals to children, Ahmed, as I said.
Right, exactly. And I think that is step by step. You can just learn how can you write the letters in Arabic. And also, what I would recommend all the learners in Arabic just to practice how can they pronounce it. I know that it could be easy for some letters and for some sounds, but when it comes to other sounds and letters, it could be difficult a little bit. And like, for example, when you have ha and da and ta, it's another different story.
You have ta and ta.
Yep.
That's kind of mixed
Ta and ta, right. And you can find dal and da. You can find ta and dha. Ayn, which is probably something that's...
I think, Ahmed, learning Arabic is not difficult as people imagine or understand. But we can take it as, for example, learning a sport, a physical sport, swimming, or it just takes a lot of time, persistent. You have to be persistent in learning, okay?
I would never forget in my life that one of my students, when I was in the US, told me before that I can't imagine that I would learn languages starting from right to left.
Left, yeah.
And I said, well, that's very easy. Well, he told me that I would like to just have a look at your laptop. I would like to see how can you write the letters in Arabic in your laptop. And I said, well, that's very easy. It's the same that's happening, for example, in a lot of Semitic languages. And if you say that you're surprised that in Arabic we start from right to left, then I would be quite surprised when I know, for example, that in Chinese or Japanese languages, we start from top to down.
Yeah, from top to down. Yeah, it's another issue. It's
difficult
to ask the Lord.
Right.
And even I think there is no letters in Chinese, Ahmed. Just shapes. You're learning with shapes.
Well, I don't want just to...
Shapes.
I don't want here to put the cat among the pigeons. I would make a kind of a lot of troubles for Chinese language speakers. I have nothing. It's not my realm to talk about the Chinese, but I think that we can find also letters. But I don't know, quite frankly. I can't tell you more.
Maybe the design of letters actually, because you have no knowledge of Chinese language, you don't know it.
Right.
We just see that some diagrams as well.
Diagrams, could be something like that.
Some binary numbers.
Yep, that's right. Okay, now let's get back again here to Dal. When it comes in the medial position, we can say, for example, sometimes it's connected, sometimes it's disconnected. Let me just give you one example here for connected, which is gadid, or jadid, if you like to say it.
Yeah, new.
So you have actually two forms for jim here. So you can say jadid, or you can say gadid. So here in this example, it comes connected. Let me just write that once again here on the whiteboard. So here is that. Can you see that? Yeah. So this is as we used to write a very small hook slanted line, and then we are moving a straight line. We are putting the dot here. Well, that's perfect. Okay. Then when you write here dal, here is that. We are making a connection with the following letter. So we are making a kind of slanted line, and then here is that.
But here, find Ahmed.
Yep.
We're making also a slanted line, and then a straight line.
Right.
But what about if I wrote it, for example, alif?
Yep.
And then we have a straight line.
Here is the Tusamah. That's your suggestion.
Yeah.
Alif.
To people,
And another.
Yeah. What about that?
Well, I think, Osama, here, it would be preferable if you just make a kind of very slanted line.
I think that's more of 90-degree angle.
Exactly. It's a kind of less than 90 degrees angle, something like that. It could be probably the standard form of writing such letter. But if you make that in this way, well, I would say that's okay. It will be completely understood again. So let me just repeat that once again here. And please follow me in writing that. Okay, here is that.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Okay, and this is for yeah. This is another dal here. Okay, we put two dots here for yeah, and we put just one dot here for ga. My focus on here, ga and dal, and this is another da here. And
so please, Ahmed, if I wrote it like that, so it would be strange or weird.
Let me just have a look at this.
It's a perpendicular line and then a straight line.
Well, that's okay, Osama. Don't worry about that. But again, I think that is. I would like just to focus on a very important point.
It's easy to me to write that.
Right. Okay, that's okay. But if you'd like just to write ga here in this way, and if you make a kind of straight line like that, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's wrong. That's not good. That's not a good idea, actually.
Yeah, we have here a certain line to do.
Exactly. I would say it's a
We're
kind
not
of,
free to
exactly.
take it. Yeah.
We have a limit for that kind of straight line. It should be actually.
What's the limit?
Yep. It's a kind of. I would say probably could be a kind of space of one letter. There's a space of one alphabet. Here is that. So again. So dal here comes actually in the medial position. So that means that the first case when dal comes in the medial position, it sometimes comes connected. But on the other hand, let me just have a look at this. Sometimes it comes disconnected, like flower, warda. Let me just write that here. I think that's a very interesting word here because you can find one distinctive feature for this word. Do you know what is it?
It's all separate.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
all of them
all
are separate together.
yeah.
Right, here is that. And well, this is where we're going to discuss more about wa and ra. My focus on here. Yep. Can you see that?
There's no communication.
Well, this is probably among the few words in Arabic that probably are not connected together.
Yes.
Like what? The flower. So, yeah.
I think it's not connected from behind or in front.
Actually, probably, yeah, that's right. It could
And
be
here,
actually.
the spaces between letters and between even a word and another word has to do with reading it correctly.
Exactly,
So
Usama.
if you made spaces between waw and ra, it would be nonsensical.
Very interesting here, because if you would like to write such a word again here in this way, wa, and then you put ra here, and then you put da here in this way, and you put here ta. Can you see that? Well, that's wrong.
We can guess about what this
Exactly right.
But we will have a bad background about the person who wrote this word.
Right, exactly.
We are judging that he's not speaking or even writing Arabic correctly.
Right. So, right. So that's why actually we should have a kind of standard rules.
Yeah.
If you'd like to make a kind of
I've heard people say vowel also means end.
end, right?
So if you put word different, put ra, da together.
Yep.
So end, rada, what does make no sense?
Well, right, exactly. I mean, in such a way, you probably could change the meaning completely.
Yes.
And that's why we should have a kind of very short space here. I think that we can discuss more about that, but I'm sorry, the time is running out. My dear viewers, I think we can discuss more about del and the following letters, which is del, and I think you can find a lot of secrets when it comes to writing and pronouncing such letters in Arabic. Please, if you have any question, if you have any suggestion, send me email to brave, brave107 @yahoo.com. Thank you for joining us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
A is for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.